veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Welcome back. Welcome back. We're back here for Married at First Sight season 15, and this was supposed to be our new start. How are you today, Kimberly?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling much better from last week. Not 100%, but almost.
Better is good. I like it.
All right. Oh, hey there, James Gype Gype. Good to see you. Thumbs up. That's right. Thumbs up the video as you're coming in. Thumbs up the video, guys. Thumbs up the video. It helps us in the algorithm, helps us to get out there, helps us to continue to come back and bring you more and more great content. So, hey, Kirby, how you doing? Good to see you. Yep. Hey, Kirby. Wow, this week's episode, it was quite interesting, and then of course the trailer were really fascinating.
Yes, I agree. Ready for the
Mhm.
reunion already.
I'm ready. I am ready. I'm like, okay, so the reunion apparently is going to give everything that the season didn't give us, huh?
Good way to look at it. Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah. Well, we'll get started. We had another panelist, and I think she's on her way, but she can pick up wherever we are in the segment, and we'll get started with this couple right here because we know they went first. And that's
Mhm.
Stasha and Nate. What did you think? What did you think about Stasha and Nate this week?
Well, I have to start off saying I was wrong because that was the one couple I said from looking at their photo there before the season ever aired. I said, nope, they're not going to do it because I was all looking and just seeing her. And they look good together, whatever. But it's just more so, I think people were showing her Instagram and just how she is in real life. And so I just didn't think that she would choose or say yes to anyone on the show. Not saying everyone's bad, but I just didn't think she would say yes. So I was wrong. So Sasha and
Yeah.
Nate,
Now,
they
now
decided to.
let me ask you a quick question. What made you feel like Sasha would not she would not say yes?
I just feel and after we saw her on the first episode, that was how I kind of pictured her to be someone who is, I guess, more strong and I guess wanting someone who is more so above her level who could lead them. And I just don't see
Oh,
that in Nate.
no,
Yeah,
I
so I
don't
see him
either.
being exactly. So that's what I had pictured and picked up from the first episode, and I was like, oh yeah, that she's gonna stick and make me right, and she's gonna say no. And then the second episode, and we here we are, and she never said no. They decided to stick it out, but I didn't like how she pulled out the negative list on decision day. It's like she tried to
What?
focus on his
Yeah, wasn't that
negatives.
something? Right. Wasn't that something like why would you I feel like and we'll get to them in a minute too. I feel like her and Alexis kind of did the same thing in that aspect. They definitely did have a negative list and then they wanted to turn around and say what they said. But go ahead, go ahead. You were saying about Stasha and her negative list. What did you notice most about her negative list?
I just didn't like how it was just all about focused on him, not taking accountability for herself or anything that she may be going through, especially the mama issue thing. I didn't like that she brought that back up or, is holding on to that when she has her own issues with her parents. So it's just like she's tearing Nate down, but Sasha also has her things that she needs to work through, but she's not focusing on that. It's all about, let me change Nate to be who I need him to be or whatever. Not let's change, work towards a goal of changing each other because they both have things that they can work on. But obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Sasha's not giving up any of her.
No,
I guess she's not giving up her wrongdoings.
any of her character flaws, right? She's just gonna like,
Yeah,
okay, well, you know what? I got the bag, so I don't have to change. That's kind of what I felt too. I felt like she felt like, oh, I got the bag, so it's not necessary for me to change.
maybe. I didn't even look at it like that, but it's possibly.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's her being such a big shot executive, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe at that level, you can show no weakness. So even if, maybe hopefully she's
Oh.
aware of her weaknesses, but she just doesn't like to show you. That's one thing I say about women, and even there are some men, but especially with women that come into relationships these days, the modern woman that comes in as the big executive, CEO, vice president, or whatever, that big boss woman energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a gift and a skill set that women have to learn if they're in that place, in that position at work. How do you learn how to turn that off so when you come home? Because most men
Mm-hmm.
don't want that energy in their home coming from their woman.
True. You got to have balance. Balance is so important in relationships. Like you said, knowing how to leave that at the office or even in the church world, leaving that
Yeah.
pastor mentality at church and coming home.
Hmm.
And like you saying, being a husband and wife is that balance is so important. But a lot of people seem to miss out on that. And I guess that's something I'm going to have to work on too, because these are real life situations. Because I got a
Yes.
promotion recently, and I'll be the billing manager. So that's going to be, I guess y'all going
Awesome.
to be talking about me. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, you definitely want to balance it out because I don't think anybody wants to come home and, leave their office stuff in the office, for goodness sake. I think men want to feel a certain amount of, I don't know, maybe the men that I'm attracted to. I can't speak, obviously, I can't even speak for any man because I'm not a man, but I don't think that most men, not that I've seen, want to feel like the woman is always at the helm, that she's always leading. And I think that there is a skill set that our mothers and grandmothers were aware of where you can literally lead from behind, you know what I'm saying? Or you can lead from by the side of your man. You follow what I'm saying? You can
Yes.
guide your man and you can have conversations and you can stroke his ego and you can do these things and make it feel like really it was his idea and it
Right.
probably wasn't, but you just we, like I said again, we see these kind of traits with Alexis, we see them with Stasha, and then one marriage that really didn't work right off the bat, we saw that with Morgan was a whole man in her relationship,
Terrible.
totally masculine person, and she's in a traditional, most people would consider nursing a more traditional women, a profession, right? It's a profession, but certainly a lot of women are in it because it's also a caring profession. But yet we didn't really see any caring from Morgan. What we saw
Right.
was that she was totally dominant and domineering, and
Yeah.
we see some of that, I feel like, with Stasha. We see some of that with Alexis. And for me, I don't know about anybody else, it's a little bit too much. Just a
Mhm.
little bit too much.
Yeah,
Oh, and
I agree.
Roro
Thank
says,
you.
congratulations.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Doing it,
I
doing it.
appreciate it.
Black
Yeah.
girl magic, just doing the
Yeah.
darn thing. I am so proud of you. So
Thanks.
we'll kind of come back because we're gonna have some more to say about them as the couples kind of get together. But
Mhm.
we'll go on over here too. This was a very interesting couple. That when they went to make their determination with the so-called experts of MAFS, Married at First Sight, I guess they allowed Justin to go first. And what did Justin do? Go ahead, take it, Kimberly.
Justin went first. He Justin
Hmm.
just I think I can't believe in a way that he still said yes. You
I
know,
know.
I was just like, come on, Justin, this is your time. Like, shine
This is
bright.
your moment. You can say whatever. I mean, you got backup there. You
Thank
got Pastor
you.
Cal. You got Dr. Peppers, as Elijah Wan likes to call her, Dr. Peppers. You got all this backup and the whole filming crew, so she can't beat you up in front of all of them.
Exactly.
You
Right.
can
So
say what
he's
you really feel, but and what does he do? He goes and says yes.
right. He said, I appreciate you. What was it? Listening and understanding me. But I really don't think that she
Ever?
understands him because she's always
No.
critiquing. So you don't, if you're
Always.
being understanding, you're not going to continuously critique that person. You're going to kind of, go with it and help them grow and learn or whatever. But I just didn't
Hmm.
see that. But they look great. Can we talk about how great I like Justin's suit? Alexis always,
Yeah. I felt this
yeah.
was the most masculine. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to say it, call it like I see it. I felt like this was the most masculine I've seen him look in the whole 16, 17, or 18, whatever week
Oh
of the
gosh.
show. I'm sorry. And I mean, it looked nice. It looked nice. He
Yeah.
wasn't pursing those lips as much, doing that lip
Right.
pursy thing that he does.
Hmm.
He did look attractive. He did look handsome, like I felt like he looked more attractive in that suit than he did on their wedding day.
Wow.
I
I
mean,
can
for me,
see that.
he
Mhm.
did. He looked very, sophisticated or whatever. And then what about Alexis? She came in with a body curve hugging dress and people's jaws were
Yes.
dropping.
Yes. Yeah. Pastor Cal, you mean?
Pastor Cal, don't let Alexis get you in trouble with the wifey at home now.
Exactly. Pastor Cal, I think he was like, wow or whoa. I was like, wait a minute now, Pastor
Yeah, he
Cal.
did. He
But she
did.
looked great. Yeah,
She looked
Alexis,
good.
I enjoyed her looks the whole season. She
Yeah,
looks great. But
she
then
did
she
come
said
to
yes
slay.
too.
What? Yeah, and
She
what was that about? Let's get into that. Let's talk about that negative letter once again.
I'm facing my fears. Everything that I don't normally do, I'm gonna do it with you. And her and Stasha wrote their letter together. That's what I think. They sat down and did the homework assignment together.
They did
So
it
yeah, it
together.
was totally focusing on the negatives in the relationship, everything kind of like she didn't want. I think that's what Pastor Devon may have helped her write that letter because he said the same thing about his ex-wife. And so it was just like she was trying to say, I'm going to do things different this time, but it didn't work this time either because just as soon
Hmm.
as she gave her yes and they left, they were not even affectionate, like walking away from the scene. You
No,
would think
not
that they
even
would
sitting
both,
there. Not even sitting there after she gave her, because she was the last one to go. Alexis was. So now, even after she said her yes, did they reach out and hold hands or get closer together? It was very awkward, almost as if they had both said no, which was kind of to me like a telltale sign. Roro for real says Justin said that he didn't give up his dog just to say no. So maybe that I forgot about that point.
yeah,
Because he had given up his whole dog and everything, which I don't know. For me, I don't know how anybody else feels, but I honestly felt like last week with the whole dog giveaway thing, I felt like that was being manipulative of Justin. I felt like you don't, as a person, to me and as an adult, you don't give up something important to you and then pressure the person to say what you want them to say. That has to be
right.
an agreement and not an assumption and not a
Yeah.
pressure situation. I have to agree. I know a lot of people don't like Alexis, but throughout the season, Alexis had a lot of good points. And I think people would do well to pay attention to some of her points, whether you agree with the messenger, whether you agree with her delivery. Um, I just feel like, no, you don't give up something and then try to make me use it to emotionally blackmail me. That's not what you're gonna
Mm-mm.
do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just I just don't. I can't believe they both said yes. I think maybe the yeses. Maybe he knew that she was going to say yes, or she knew that he was going to. Because it had to be some kind of background conversation. Because it was mind blowing. I was like, no, we are not here, and y'all are still going to give us this roller coaster. Although I was excited now because this is my favorite entertainment couple. So I was looking
Yeah,
forward
they
to
are very
the
entertaining. You got that right. And we
yes,
find that out a little bit later. Wait a minute, but I
right.
got now this brings up the question, and I have to put this out there. Allegedly, there's that big rumor going on for several seasons now that Married at First Sight has been offering bonuses, if you will, for the couples that stayed together. So if there's any truth to that, that would be an incentive for Justin and for Alexis to say yes. So is that a possibility? Has that ever crossed your mind, Kimberly?
Oh
This
yeah, all season.
alleged.
I think
Hmm.
yes, for sure. Even last season, I just saw checks. That was my running like laughing point. The whole season was like every time I look into their eyes, I just see dollar signs. Like they're just here for the money. So I can see that. I can. But if it was me, if I was on the show, and I think I've heard different salary amounts that they get each month. The most
Okay.
recent I think was 5,000 a month.
Yeah,
I
I
would
heard five
really,
thousand. Yes, I think
I
we were
would
on the
give my all.
same channel. Yeah, and
I
saw
would
that.
give my all. If that was the check, I would really, put my all into it and really
But
try. This is an experiment. It really is an experiment. People don't look at it like this, but the
okay.
experiment is we're giving you tools to work on your relationship, do the work and see if it really works. But they're not willing to step outside of the box. They want to keep it with, what they always do. But it's not working when you try to do half of what the experts tell you to do and then half of what you already want to do because that's what you usually do. So yeah, I would really give my all if I was getting that what 5,000 a month.
Well, yeah, now that's interesting because I think that's when well, okay, and I'll say this. This is what my understanding of that is that the $5,000 a month stipend is for each castmate, and that's for I think as they're filming the show. So I guess if that includes their pay for being on screen or whatever, I'm not sure. But wait a minute. Okay, so my understanding is that the bonus money, which is totally separate from the stipend money, so two different things now is what at least what I'm hearing, according to what I've heard, is that the bonus money for saying yes on decision day is $50,000.
Well, I would say yes to Mitch. I would say yes to Justin. I would say, listen, I
Kimberly
would,
said she said yes to everything. Yes to the dress, yes to all of it.
everybody get a yes. But see, I don't know. I don't know. But
Hey
even just me,
Chloe.
I would do the work. Yes, hey Chloe, I would really do the work. If it was me in that situation, why sign up? And even Nate mentioned that the application process was 200 questions. How did they
Mm-hmm.
pick some of these people? I'm like, how did they pick them? How did they answer these questions and end up on the show? I just don't understand it. If you're, that's a
You
pretty
know they
intense
picking these people for
application.
drama. Now let's not dibble and dabble and quibble and quabble. Let's say what the thing really is. The thing is the thing. They pick these people for drama. They pick these narcissists for drama. They know that the narcissists are gonna be narking. They're gonna be totally and this season, who knows? They look like they might have even picked some men and people that are bisexual. I don't know. I don't know what is going on with these men flirting with these other men on the set. We're gonna get into that in a minute too. But yeah, I honestly think that what may have started as a social experiment for the good, i.e., MAFS, maybe the first 7, 8, 9, 10 seasons. I think totally when they discovered, especially on season 12, when they discovered Chris, the narcissist, and I'm saying it in my opinion, he's a narcissist, and how he did poor Paige, who was victimized the whole season. When they saw how big their ratings grew, they loved that. They loved that stuff. They loved it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
and so
it's it's not good.
they're matching these people for drama. They're not really caring if I mean, I think, and that's why I really truly believe, and maths, if I'm wrong, this is my thought, this is just my opinion, these are all speculations, but if I'm wrong, I want somebody from maths to come tell me that I'm wrong, because I really think you guys are matching for drama, because it's not like back when who was that fell in love? My favorite couple is Deanna and Greg. You know, the
Oh
couple from
yes.
North Carolina, I believe it is. You know,
Yep.
yep.
Carolina.
The Carolinas, I mean,
Yes.
these people, that couple, they're still together, going strong, got a baby. I mean, there are several couples that are still married from MAFS. Now, they've been on like what, 15, 16, 15 seasons. So they've got several couples that are still together.
Hmm.
Many of the couple, I mean, well, right now, what is it? Bree and Brianna and Vinny.
Vincent. Hmm.
Vincent, yeah. They're in the process of having a baby, been married over a year. So some of these couples
Hmm.
do stay together, but I really do think they're matching them for drama. There is no way
Yeah.
you cannot tell me. And then here's the other thing I have to say too. And if not, prove this to me. Why is it that the experts are so not available all of a sudden? These last 4 or 5 seasons, the experts, if you've noticed, they have not been available.
Mm.
We see these
Yeah.
couples struggling. We saw Lindy and Miguel struggling this season. And where were the experts? They pop in here and there. What I see them doing is they basically come in on every episode and they narrate. They come in and do,
Yeah.
they talk and say, well, this is what it is, and this season, and this episode. And like, hey, you could pay anybody to be a voiceover talent.
Pay me. Right.
Yeah, pay me too, right? But I mean, they're not really in there with these couples, really grinding with them. I remember years ago, seasons ago, you used to hear the couple say that they would call the experts at any time and they would have consultation. Now you don't hear them talking about that. You don't hear the couples ever saying that.
Okay. Wow, good point. I
So
think Kirby brings a good point. That comment just then, I don't even know if it's matching them for the drama or people are just faking. They can fake it because that is so true. At jobs, they go through all these applications and sometimes they pick
oh, this
wrong.
this comment right here, they pick.
Yes.
Kirby says they picked the wrong people, same as at some jobs picking the wrong employee. Yeah, yeah, Kirby, that's true too. And I mean,
Hmm.
I have no doubt. Now, I will say this, in part to give balance to the situation too. I have no doubt that a lot of these contestants now that are clout chasing and want to become rich and famous and want to blow up their YouTube channels or their Instagram page, I have no doubt that some of these people come on there and they totally lie. You
Oh,
know,
yes. That's
even
why
in
I
the
said,
yeah, even in the early seasons of Math, they had problems with that. Who was the guy? It was a guy named Michael, I think, that totally lied about his occupation, and they
mm,
found out later. So I don't know. But then my thing is, well, why aren't they vetting? Why aren't they vetting a little better? Because a person can write down whatever on their application, but
right,
then usually you sign some kind of waiver or disclaimer that they have the right to run a credit check, they have the right to check to contact your former job and talk to the supervisors. So why aren't they checking these things that are checkable? There's certain things that are
right.
checkable. There are some things that you cannot really check until you put the person in the situation, and then you're gonna find out.
Right. Yeah, there
Yeah.
should also be some type of clause that, hey, if you come on the show and prove to be someone opposite of who you were on the application, there should be some type of, I don't know, disciplinary action taken as well. Because that's why I want to see these applications. I want it to go back to the old way where we saw the interviews, the videos beforehand, and we heard some of the things that stood out on the application as
Oh,
far as,
so
yeah,
like
why
the
they chose
the
them.
the before the show, before the season starts, we kind of find out a little bit more about these people. What do you think about this, Kirby? Why do you say Bree and Vinny aren't gonna last? Why do you say that? What makes you say that?
And she's expecting. So we don't want to hear
Yeah, like
that.
God, I got a whole baby coming here now. Don't say that. Hey,
We
Ravine. Hey there, member extraordinaire. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it to the chat. Yes, yes. Hey there. They need to wait a minute.
mm,
Oh, Kirby is saying they need to bring back the original experts and the format, much to what you were saying about the format, right?
yes.
Um, and then we'll move on to the other couples. We know here's this
Mhm.
couple, Lindy and Miguel. I wasn't
Oh,
surprised. I was not
no.
surprised that they were going to say yes. I felt like they had the energy, they had chemistry. We can see a genuine connection, albeit
Mhm.
that there may be some cray cray and some toxic going on top of all the other sexual chemistry, but I felt like they did have that, so you can't negate that. And when couples are young and they're attractive, and they were already married, why not give it a, like you said, why not give it a shot? Why not continue to
Mhm.
go along with the experiment and see where it takes you?
Right.
What were
Yeah,
your
that's
thoughts,
my
Kimberly? Uh-huh.
I
What were you?
agree. I expected a yes, especially when the experts brought in the Lingale, or the little baby.
Oh,
So
the
I was like,
baby. Yeah.
oh,
I was like, what the?
mm,
Oh yeah. McGinty. I
yeah,
think it was McGinty you called.
McGindy. That's it. I done gave him a middle name, but yeah, McGindy.
McGinty,
So
yeah.
I think when they got to that part, I was like, oh wow, how did they end up, with the baby? So from then on, I was like, yeah, they're staying together. And then the insurance thing, I figured that Lindy was going to act right. I said, oh, she got her insurance. Lindy is going to act right the night before decision day because she got what she wanted.
She
She
got what she
got.
wanted, yeah.
But what about Miguel's long ladder? That was very thoughtful, and Lindy didn't interrupt at
She
all. I
didn't
told you
interrupt this time. She's
she acted
learning.
right. She took
She
her
acted
act right
right.
pill.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, well, I've been saying, and I'm gonna say it again. I think that Lindy, now that she has that insurance, should definitely have a full workup. And I mean, really, no, seriously, all jokes aside, now,
right.
I think that she should ask them to run a battery of tests, and on that list of tests, she should be tested for attention.
Mhm.
Hyperactivity attention deficit disorder, because that's a real thing. I know some people, there are some Black parents particularly, that don't think that that is a thing, and they don't help their children while they're young enough where they can make behavioral changes. You don't necessarily have to take medication, but you have to do something. If your child or you are dealing with that, 9 out of 10, you have to do something different, because you do learn different, you do process information different, and you do have triggers where everything will catch your attention while somebody's over here talking to you, and you'll seem like you're being rude intentionally, but it's not intentional. And how I know? Because I have it. So
Mhm.
there's a lot that I could say about that, but we'll do, probably have to come back and do a whole separate topic and bring in real experts on that, because although I deal with it, I'm not an expert on it. So I'm not going to attempt to give anybody advice, other than I just think that Lindy owes it to herself to have her workup done to find out if that's what she's dealing with, because there's something unusual going on there. And it's not just, I don't think it's simply that she's just being rude. I think there's something going on that she doesn't have a grasp on. And once she gets a grasp on whatever it is, she'll be able to be in relationship with not only Miguel, but this affects your relationship with other people. I've
Mhm.
had in my lifetime, I've had friends that I've lost because they didn't think that I was paying attention, or they didn't think they mattered to me. And when in my
Mm.
heart of hearts they mattered very much, but because I didn't have a grasp on my situation at that time, I wasn't understanding them and they weren't understanding me. And so people just disappear out your life, and you wonder later on, well, what happened? But then when you come to grips with what it really is, you say, oh, okay, I can see how they thought I didn't care, even though that's the
Yeah.
farthest thing from the truth, right? But
Right.
yeah, this couple, they're very sensuous. They're very physical. Of course, we know that Miguel made it very plain and very clear early on that he expected to get the, what is it that Nicole calls it, the hot and heavy
Hot and
time.
steep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
He let that be known, and I think that, well, just like Lindy let it be known that she wanted her insurance. Now, I've been meaning to say this all season long. A lot of people said, "Well, what, what? Why do you say this?" Was when Lindy asked for insurance. I didn't have a problem with that. A lot of people, a lot of reviewers
Mhm.
on the YouTube streets, they had a problem with it. They said, "Oh, she's just doing this, and why didn't she have insurance?" Well, I agreed that a grown woman her age, a professional woman, a woman with a PhD, definitely should have insurance. But it's just a fact of the matter that in this country, people don't understand that there are a lot of more people out here that are uninsured health wise that you would just never know about, and they're not going to qualify, or they're not going to apply for Medicaid. Let's get there, because somebody say, oh, you can always get Medicaid. Well, they're not going to apply for Medicaid because that's embarrassing to the average middle class person to say,
Right.
quite frankly, that they're on Medicaid. I'm sorry. But here's the thing, I did not have a problem with Lindy stating her case, just like he wanted the panties, the pantaloons. I feel like, you know what? Well, she wants her health insurance, and doggone it, you work for an employer that offers it to you, and marriage is an event that triggers your 30-day window for you to add that person on. So doggone it, if you came on a whole show that said you were going to be a husband does what? protect,
Provide.
provide, and profess. So that's part of the protection piece, right? So I
Yep.
had no problem with Lindy, and I thought, well, my goodness, I don't know how many women go around and going to marry a whole guy and not going to ask for insurance, not going to ask that they get become the beneficiary of his life insurance policy. There's a whole lot of
Mm.
things people are like, "Are you serious? You just gonna sit up and cook and clean for this man and do all of this? And where's the benefit? Where's the
Right.
marital benefit?
Yeah.
That's part of the
No.
marital benefit. That
Mm-hmm.
insurance.
Yeah. You bring up a good point because I didn't even think about the 30-day window. That's
Yeah, there's a
see.
30-day window, and you and not unless and unless and if you miss that 30-day window, guess what? Now you've got to wait till the next October. The next year,
Mm.
October, when most companies open up their benefits, usually right around in October, they open it up again. But you gotta wait. Like, are you serious? I'm gonna wait a whole year to have a pap smear, a mammogram, go see the dentist. Are you
No.
serious?
No. No, not at all. So yeah, I didn't like the fact that she didn't was uninsured, but I was all for let him provide, let him protect you with his insurance. So yeah, I was with you on that part. And then I was so overjoyed when he finally came in because I was asking like, hey, did he ever do it? Because they didn't show it. And then finally they did show that,
Right.
he gave
He
her
did it. The
I like it.
insurance
And thank
card.
you. Yeah, thank you too for sharing your testimony about dealing with these issues because I think it makes it more
Oh, thank
personable
you.
when it does hit home and then we can get another perspective because to me I was saying, "Oh yeah, it was kind of disrespectful for her to keep interrupting him, but
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, she let him get through it, especially when Miguel brought up how it made him feel." And then
How
she
it
was
made him
just like,
feel.
"Oh,
Yes.
she was like, oh, whatever."
And
But
I
I
have to
think,
say, I felt like, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but I feel like I have to say that part of it also was Miguel's fault, to be honest, because, like, who does a poem and it was a boring poem? I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. It was boring. Then he tried to add a little beat to it to make it like a rap. Okay. Who does a poem when you're on a ride? She said this is her first time experiencing this. So quite naturally, she's going to be excited. Why not let her enjoy that and tell her in a still, quiet moment, like maybe when you're sitting at the table, looking at each other, gazing into each other's eyes? Why would you do it? It's like people like us. We have a sensory thing. We have a sensory
mhm.
overload. So you're on a carriage ride. You're experiencing the sounds of the birds chirping. You're seeing this bunny rabbit hopping by. All of this is going on, and then you're trying to tell me a poem too. Like, dude, could you just chill?
I didn't mind the poem in that moment. I think it added to the romanticism of a carriage ride.
I
I would have
guess,
liked it.
but have but I'm thinking maybe the average person, or you probably, because you're certainly sophisticated and a world traveler, you've probably been on a carriage ride before. So this is not
Oh,
something new to you. You see what I'm saying? She did say, and
right.
he even knew that this was something brand new to her. Why not let her grasp this? Because see, that's the thing with what we have with the condition for most of us is that it's a lot. Things that aren't a lot for most people are a lot for us. So if I tell you this is
Mhm.
my first time doing riding a roller coaster, don't have me riding a roller coaster and eating your spaghetti at the same time, okay? And I'm giving that very odd. Like, of course, nobody's gonna ride a roller coaster and eat
Right.
spaghetti at the same time. I'm saying
Mhm.
something that are diametrically opposed to make the example very clear. But I want to
Yeah.
address. I'm gonna hop around here a little bit with my ADHD brain. Uh, Alyssa says Brianna is going to get tired of taking care of Vincent and now a baby. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like
Very
having
good
two
point.
babies in the house.
Right. And that was my take too on them. They will last as long as Vincent continues to let Brianna lead. As soon as Vincent
Ah.
tried to take the lead road, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, you do see that she gets to take the lead, but she's another one that has a very high ranking job. She's very professional. She's done very well for herself. And when she first came into their marriage at first sight season, she was a little domineering, and her mother, they even joked about it on the wedding day that she's
Right.
controlling. But she's had to soften because, again, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you make four or $500,000, $1 million a year. Most men, even if they only make $10,000 a year, their
Mhm.
pride and their fragile ego will not allow them to allow you to be the super bossy one. You can do it, but you have to have the skill set to do it in a charming, sweet Southern woman kind of way almost. And then this comment right here, yes, Roro, it is genetic. It is genetic.
Oh,
My children, some of them deal with it. Yes, it is genetic, and although I'm not attached to my biological family, that happened at birth. I was adopted, but I have met them, and I know most of them. And yes, it is genetic, and I can see it in quite a few of the relatives, and even, of
mhm.
course, my own children. I can see it, and I can see aspects of it. Now, the thing about it is actually that's why I say it's important that parents really acknowledge it when the doctors and nurses are telling you this is what your child may have, and allow them to do the testing, because it actually can be a superpower. People that are like me
Mm.
that have ADHD, it's actually a superpower in terms of giving you an extreme focus on something, and you can go longer, and you can go really deep in depth into research, and you can go down
Wow.
rabbit holes, which on the one hand can be bad, but on the other hand can be good depending on how you choose to use your superpower.
Mhm.
Um, and so I have both my children now have I think really managed it very well. One I think only
Awesome.
had one of them I think only has it slightly, and then one has it in a much more dramatic way, but has gotten a grip on it. Did not discover till they got to college, and college was very stressful because of it. But they've all done very well. Um,
That's great.
let's Thank you. Ravine says, I think it was too soon to ask. No, no,
Mm.
because decision day, 8 weeks later, now you're not eligible. So,
Nope.
no,
Yeah.
I
So I don't
disagree,
think that's why.
Ravine.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't even thought about the 30-day thing, but you're totally right. Why wait until, after decision day? Because he can always remove, if I'm not mistaken, you can remove or update, but then to
Oh,
have to wait to get a year later, maybe possibly for insurance. No, it's not worth waiting. If you know you want to be with me, just do it. You're my husband. You signed up for this process. Let's get to it.
our chatters, they have some very good points. Alyssa says
Yes.
that Lindy doesn't pay her tuition, so she's definitely not going to pay. And I didn't know this is, I guess, and Alyssa is the queen of research, so if she
Yes.
says it is probably true. 99%. That is $250 a
Oh.
month for herself through the healthcare.gov. Okay, all right, good
Mm,
point. Good point.
that's a lot.
uh Marriage is an event that you can use to add someone to your insurance. No, that's not correct. Go back and
30
check with
days, right?
HR. It's 30 days. Yeah. In most companies that I know of, it's 30 days. It's not any time, because you get
Mm-hmm.
married. Okay, so you get married on XYZ day. Let's just for sake of this example, let's use January 1st. You get married on January 1st. By February 1st, you're supposed to have that. You have the license, and you take that to the HR at your company, and you get that person on the insurance, and you decide which insurance you want for both of you. It's a family deal, a couple, whatever. Um, and you decide. But no, if you miss that window, you've got to wait till the next open enrollment. And open enrollment typically, at least here in Michigan. Now I don't know if it's like that where you are in your state, Kimberly.
North
Maybe you can
Carolina,
help.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Same thing. All the jobs I've been to.
it's October. So what? Like you get married in January, you missed the February 1st or 2nd deadline, and now you telling me we got to wait till October? And then when you
Right.
get enrolled in October as an add-on, it doesn't kick in till the next year. So you mean to tell me I'm going to wait a whole year? No, I'm not. No, you wanted to
Right.
be a husband. You wanted to be a whole husband. I
Thank
want to be
you.
a whole wife. Help me
Yeah.
out. Hook me up.
Yeah. And there are also so many tests that you can do to screen your blood test and find out what kind of health issues you have. So that's something you can do in 30 days. So if that was the thing, maybe he was holding out to say, oh, well, would she be too expensive, for me to handle? But there are tests out there for that too. And once again, you signed up for the process. You want to, if you want to be the protector, the provider, the lead, whatever, here is your chance. Here's the opportunity.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I mean, like, and like I said, I think people look at it, and why is it okay for Miguel to have this demand or this request that he wants to have intercourse with his wife? Which, okay, that sounds pretty obvious. Like, when just me saying it out loud, intercourse with your wife or hot and heavy time. I'm sorry. Um,
Hmm.
but that sounds like that's a normal. So why wouldn't insurance be a normal? It is.
Exactly.
If he
Yep.
has it available at his job, it is a norm. He has it.
Right.
I bet you my bottom dollar he has taken advantage of the lowered cost of healthcare insurance through his company through a group program, right? So why wouldn't he offer it to his wife?
Right.
I mean, we understand that this is or at least I understand that this is they say an experiment. But as Kimberly has said already, if we're going to go into this experiment, let's give it our all. Now, what
Yes.
happens? We get a divorce. He can take her off. He can have her
Right.
removed. But the one
Exactly.
thing I will
Easy.
say about it, once you've added someone on as your spouse, you cannot remove them until you have that divorce decree.
Okay.
So now, if it takes you 2 years to get divorced, guess what? They're just going to be right up on there.
Hmm. Or you can remove in October.
Or in act yeah. Well, yes, that's right, because you can't decide not to pay. You're right. You are right. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. You're such a sweetie.
So
So
true.
we'll go on and we'll find the let me find the because I see Morgan and Ben, but we ain't talking about them, even though we do see them later. We'll talk about them in a minute, but we'll get to this couple right here. Kristen and Mitch. Now, what do you think of this son of a Mitch?
I was so proud of Mitch. Mitch said no. I had to give him his little flowers or
You have a different
water.
take on it, but let me hear, why are you proud that he said no? Because I think this is his last chance for love. Mitch ain't
No.
gonna find nobody to put up with his dirty feet and his nasty tub and his nasty stove. No, he ain't gonna find now one woman. No,
Listen,
nobody.
you'd be surprised. I'm just so happy that he finally stuck to his truth because he was not attracted to her. She's not willing to
No,
go without the
no.
makeup and all that good
Yeah,
stuff. So why
and he
keep
just
faking it?
isn't attracted to her. You're right about that. Now that you point that out, I'm sorry. I kind of have to agree with you, because with men, their desire, even though I think most people have agreed over the season that they find Kristen perfectly fine to look at, but Mitch is the one that's got to be married to her. So for whatever reason, if he don't find her attractive, you're right. That's a very big thing for a man.
Yep. And then just her goals of wanting to, what was it? Something with houses, like buying
Oh
houses.
yeah, taking the houses and buying them and then fixing them up and flipping them. Yes.
Yep. So if you, these are things you have to talk about in the early stages of dating. Are you attracted to me? Do you support my goals? Because if you don't, it's not going to work and we need to move on. So I was so proud that he finally stood up and I think he will find somebody. I was watching the live recently
Give them a hand.
and the
You're right.
people, the one of the ladies on the live had roaches and people were like, "Oh my god, people still have roaches." So that's why I say
They're not going anywhere. What, this world will be gone and roaches will still be here. Roaches are eternal.
right, and that's why I said Mitch will find a wife, and he might find one quicker than Kristen finds, and you'll be surprised
Well,
before
now
she finds a
you're right
husband.
about that, because men do have a better a streak at finding
That
women
too.
than finding a marital partner. Because why? Because there's more women, more marriageable women out there than there are men. So you're
Yep.
absolutely right about that. I was being a little facetious, but yeah, you're right. He'll find somebody. Well, and
Yep.
did you notice that it seemed to be? Is it me? Or did Mitch go to that conference and did he get all of a sudden revved up like he became some hot commodity while he was at that conference? Because he came back and he had taken his ring off. He didn't want nobody to know he
Yep.
was married. I wonder if Mitch had not had to go to that conference, I wonder if he would have said yes to Kristen.
Right. I think he would have maybe, but then that brings up a good point. Did someone catch his eye at the conference? You just never know. I don't know. I'm just wondering, like,
Mm,
okay, who I always love to see the future. Let's hurry up and get to the point of whatever, because a lot of times we think we know what's going to happen and it just doesn't play out that way because I've
mm-hmm.
seen people in relationship who look and smell worse than I do, and they're happily married. So we just can't assume.
starting me to laugh. I still got that cough. Wait a minute. Hold on. I've got to mute for a second.
Sorry, but yeah, so we'll just stay tuned and see. But yeah, when he went to that conference, to me, it's disrespectful for men in general to like not wear the ring. Why are you taking it off? That bothered me a little bit, but he's never been my favorite, never cared for him. But this one time I was like, go, Mitch, finally say no, stick to it. Kristen, close the door. Don't leave the door open, ajar, whatever you want to play on words. Keep it moving because Mitch ain't it. He's not the one.
Mm, yeah. Even let me go back up here. That's a good point. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and I saw Kirby's comment. I'm not. Y'all would be
Wait a minute, wait a
surprised.
minute. I gotta go back. Let me get to Kirby in a second. But wait a minute, hold on. I gotta put this back up on the screen. I love this. Ravine S, our All Star 18 member says, I appreciated Mitch's honesty. They don't love each other enough. I don't know.
Exactly.
I feel like he may not love her enough for sure, but I felt like the love that she had for him and the desire. I don't even know if it was love, but the desperation that she had for Mitch, son of a itch. I just think that she wanted him so bad. I feel sad for Kristen that someone who seems to be accomplished as she is. I find her attractive. Of course, I'm not like in that way, but just as physically, I feel like she's aesthetically, pleasing enough. Um, but I just don't see why she doesn't have enough self-confidence in herself to put
Thank
herself
you.
first, you
Yep.
know. Well, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and start talking about what happened when the group got together. We know
Mhm.
that Ben came in looking like fresh new money, right?
Didn't he?
Huh?
Didn't he? He
Yes, he
did.
did. Ben came in. Let's give him a hand. Let's give him a hand.
Right.
Ben came in looking like fresh new money. Morgan, of course, she managed not to stomp as much this time, like but she's really gonna need like etiquette training and lady dainty like training because she's a whole man the way she moves in her body. Like I don't know if it's all that kickboxing she does, but she's a whole dude
Hmm.
right there. Like really.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, but getting back, I was gonna say so. Getting back, so we talk about these couples now. What did you think about let's start this off with the conversation, not that this was the first thing that happened, but since they're already up on the screen, what did you think about the conversation where Kristen said, um yeah, I'm going to leave the door ajar for Mitch, like maybe at some point, blah 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 blah.
Wrong move. Ladies, let's stop. Men too. It goes both ways. Don't leave the door open for anyone. Go on and live your life. You gave it a try. It didn't work. Just keep it moving. I wouldn't even have said that. It was given very like pick me vibes because it's
Mhm.
like I really want this to work and I think it was more so along the lines of pride because we know her situation prior to coming on the show. She was in a relationship close to the wedding date. The guy was
Mhm.
cheating, whatever. So to me, I
Yeah.
feel like this was like, oh, I gotta make this work because I can't go through this again. So that's the energy I felt Kristen was giving this season.
So kind of like lazy dating vibe. Like well, like dating is really, and I understand. I mean, well, I don't, I do, and I don't. I haven't been out there dating in quite a while, but I know from what we see on these shows that we're reviewing, so it gives me an idea that the dating world has got even worse since when I was in it. Okay, so it's a
Mhm.
trip. I get that it's work. I get that it's not fun. I get that it's hard dealing with rejections and going on these various uh, cyber online apps or whatever. But I just feel like I said, I think that sometimes the energy that you're right, the energy that she had, sometimes the energy that you carry into any situation can make or break that situation. So, in other words, if she comes into a dating situation like, hey, I'm looking for love, I'm open, but I'm not easy, and I've got my standards, and I think this is going to work well, and eventually I'm going to find the love of my life. I think if she came into it with that energy, I think she would find the love of her life. Does that kind of
Oh,
make
yes.
sense?
Yes. Oh, yes. She's messing up with this. Oh, I'll always be here waiting. So, you know what Mitch is going to do? He's going to tiptoe back over there to get his needs met. And then
That's
he's
what
going
I
to
was
leave
thinking
again.
exactly, because that's what she left the door open for. Men don't really want women after it's over with, the relationship is over with. They really simply only want that hot and heavy time. Let's face it, guys.
Yep.
Women, let's be true to yourself. Like I'm never gonna want a guy after we've been in a relationship and just to have hot and heavy time or friends with benefit. No, I'm not doing that. That's playing myself cheap.
Right. Been there, done that. I got to be honest. So, it's
Oh
over.
yeah,
Not worth
we
it.
we've been there. It's been it's
Not worth
happened.
it.
It's happened,
Not
and you know
worth it.
what? And you know what typically happens for the woman, for us women, we're involved in it. We still have our emotions, and the man he's already 1 foot out the door, and then you walk around and you go to the grocery store and you see him with the new bae, and you're like, but wait a minute, but we're still having hot and heavy time, and he's like, well, yeah, but that's just maintenance, dude. Dude, that's just maintenance.
Ugh.
We're not
Ouch.
in a relationship. We broke up 2 months ago. And you get your feelings hurt just like that.
Yep. Close the door. Don't leave it open. That's my tip on that one. Don't leave the door open. Close it ajar, whatever she wanted to say. So yeah, nope, it's not gonna work. But I can't wait to see what happens. And did you see that she was like, "Can you still babysit the dog?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." Just stop.
She's not gonna learn. She's not gonna learn because as soon as she said, oh yeah, I'm gonna close the door, he made her look embarrassed. He said, but wait a minute, I didn't want any parts of this. Because Mitch gets really frustrated when people start pointing out things that he said or things that he's doing that aren't good or aren't beneficial or aren't kind. He gets upset and he gets frustrated and he lashes out. Mitch is a true contrarian. If you say go left,
Mm.
Mitch is definitely going to go right. If you want a sure way to get Mitch to do what you want is say the opposite of what you want because he's a contrarian. And
Mm.
that's another thing about it. I could never be married to somebody like Mitch. Okay, I could never be married to somebody like Mitch because that's really who he is at the end of the day. He's not going to change, he's not going to improve. And I've come to my final conclusion, and this is in my opinion. I also feel like Mitch is a narcissist. So that's another slap.
Mm.
That's another 3, 4, 5, 10, 30, 40, 50 strikes against him.
Right.
He's a narcissist because,
Mm.
everything about him, when he just said to, I think it was back later when they were at the house or the apartment, and he told her, he said, I just want to be left alone. I was like, you know what, dude? And that's exactly what you should be. You should be left alone
Alone.
because
Yeah.
he's a contrarian and he really doesn't he's not a people person. Mitch will be
Hmm.
the guy that'll be grumpy and he'll be sick and he'll be living in his own poop and why? Because he doesn't like people, he doesn't want people, but the reality of it is if any of you know like my mom used to say to me, you need people in this world. You need
Yeah.
people. People need you and you need people. And she was right, because
Yeah.
I'm a loner myself now. I'll be honest. I'm a loner myself. Um, but at the end of the day, I know I need people. And I don't
Right.
want to be alone. I don't want to end up living alone for my whole life. I just don't want it. I really
Same
don't.
here.
Can I do it? Yes, of course I can do it.
Right.
But I want someone that I care about deeply that cares about
Hmm.
me.
Yes.
So but also I want to go back and just real quickly touch on this because we got to get this and then we're gonna close it out. Let's go back to this couple. What is she saying? Even if oh my goodness.
That's what made me laugh.
I didn't see that. You know what? And I'm on the wrong keyboards. I can't take that down, but I'm gonna get you a list.
I think, can I take it away? Nope.
Can we not? Can we unsee it? Let me get that off of there. Okay, so it was
Listen.
on here. Hey, Sharonda. No, no, no. But getting back, I want to just talk about this real briefly, and we'll close this out because everybody was having their say when we know when the couples got together after we saw Ben and Morgan, and we talked about what Mitch was already saying and what they were doing and leaving this door ajar. But let's talk about this couple right here. They said yes. They get to the party, and now what has to happen? Go ahead, Kimberly. Take the lead.
Miss Alexis says she was still processing her yes. And then Justin goes, I guess he just went left. I don't know where all this masculine energy came from Justin because he just kept pressuring Alexis, like, but did you really want to say yes? And I think that's what tipped it and turned Alexis off because if you listen to the letter and paid attention, she was telling you that she wanted to say no, but she just went with the yes to do something different this time around. So I guess Justin felt it because he also said something along the lines, I feel like you just said yes to make me feel good. He didn't say that, but it was something along those lines. And
Uh
so they
huh.
just kept going back and forth. They didn't even get out their church clothes. And next thing you
The
know,
church clothes.
They changed it to no. They
Yeah.
changed the decision to no. And I was all excited about the YouTube channel. I was hoping that they would get a YouTube channel and stuff. And
Oh, you know what? Now
yeah,
that would be really good. See, they could make a mint on a YouTube channel because the two of them going back and forth and arguing, they would make a mint.
I
But
would
did you
subscribe.
Me too, me too. I'd bring all of my subscriptions over there, you know what I'm saying? My Boo Day channel and all. But did you feel like was it just me? Because I kind of wondered was Justin picking at Alexis to kind of make her fall out and have that whole fight. It was like, he just kept asking her, kept asking her. I'm like, this man has lived with her for 8 weeks. He knows what her buttons are. He's doing this on purpose. But was that just me?
No, I think he wanted to know because we just seen where they were, and I think Justin was tired. Maybe 2 episodes ago, Justin just really seemed like he was tired and just over the whole process with Alexis and wanted to be done. So I feel like he thought Alexis was going to say no, and she didn't. So it kind of messed up the plan. I just don't know why he didn't take the lead initially and say no. But yeah, the pressure that he put on her at the end, it wasn't, I didn't like that, Justin.
Right, right. It was just too much. I'm like, why are you doing all of this? But okay, we got to talk real quick too. We got to talk about this trailer. What is going on
Mm.
with Justin and, and Nate? What's going on? Who who made a pass at Justin? And why are we just now finding this out? And did anything happen? And how does Stasha feel about this? Is she okay with her guy being bi, or what's allegedly what's going on? Because you know what? It's a lot of people I heard on the YouTube street say, you know what? They're not surprised. They saw something like this in Nate earlier. They thought that he could possibly be bi. And wasn't his openly gay friend, nothing against gay people, by the way, guys.
Right,
But
right.
if we go back, and I could be wrong, but I'm just asking the question, wasn't it Nate's openly gay friend who was the one who made the comment that Nate's a freak in the sheets? How would he know?
Right, right.
What?
Yeah,
Tell
I'm with
me.
you. There were so many signs during this season to not, I don't, he's not gay, but he may, dibble and
Maybe a
dabble a
little
little bit on the
maybe a little
swingers.
vibe, a little try, a little something.
Try,
Well,
maybe.
a lot of people kept saying, what was it about Nate that he kept giving so much grief to Alexis? And a lot of people said, well, Alexis isn't likable. She's this, she's that. But I felt like it was a little bit more to it than that too. But I couldn't put my finger on it. Uh oh.
Mm,
Alyssa said
possibly.
Justin's lying as usual.
Ah,
No. Wait a minute. It's okay. So is that oh, that's an I. Okay, I gotta get my glasses fixed. Okay, so is that no bi man would want him? Well, how do we know that?
thank you.
Not sure we know that, Alyssa. Stasha didn't look
Mm,
surprised,
mm.
but didn't look surprised by what? She didn't look surprised by the accusation, or she didn't look surprised that that's maybe her man's truth. Is it something that the two of them have talked about possibly? And hey, by the way, I realize that this is California. No dig against California, but it is a wild state. Okay,
Hello.
it is a wild state, and they live in Southern Cal, where it's just a very kind of a lot of things going on there. A lot of things are going on everywhere. But
Hmm.
I feel like I see that he's not the most, for me as a woman, he's not the most attractive man, talking about Justin, okay? But if a man were bi or gay or down low, he might be just what the that type of person ordered or looking for, because
Possibly.
he's definitely passive and soft.
Yep.
And the
Yeah.
two of them were in the gym in matching white t-shirts, so I don't know. But the part about it that's really wicked is they were in the gym together, and this guy here, Justin, could barely lift up 10, 20 pounds, and he's talking about, come on, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Boy, if you don't sit down,
Sit down. But yeah, I wasn't surprised for either one, Justin or Nate, if it comes out, because I even go back to the friend that was there who was talking about, oh, I can't wait to hang out with you and Justin, you and Nate, with Sasha and Nate. She wanted to go mountain climbing and hiking and spending the nights in the woods. So I feel like she thought that she was going to be the third participant, and it could be that Nate is open and interested in just I think they call it a trisexual, somebody willing to try anything. So
Right.
I could see it. So I'm just gonna stay tuned and see if it is true, if it's not true, what happened. Did Stasha know? Is she a willing participant? Because we all heard all season long that Nate is freaky. That's all we've heard.
We've
Is
been hearing
he's
all of that
freaky.
all along. So I'm saying, hey. And Sharonda says she lives in LA. And yes, it is wild. Okay. Yes,
We
indeed.
here.
Kimberly, before we get off, I've gotta ask you to tell our people, our viewers, about what you do and where you do it at, and the name of your channel. Please talk to them about that, and I'll find the your link too. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you always for this opportunity. You can find me here on YouTube at Kimberly Reviews, also on Facebook, Kimberly Reviews. Thank you all for helping me reach 500 followers on Facebook. So that's kind of cool. And also Instagram, Kimberly Reviews underscore. So what we do is watch the show at home on my channel. We chat about it in the comment box. I just look forward to Wednesday nights when we chat about this show live as the show is airing. So it's great. And I also love to travel. So I post my travel so you all can go on virtual vacations. Make sure you go back and watch the replay on the places I have been. And last but not least, I love talking about finances. So I have a finance video there about budgeting and being debt free because I love and support being debt free so that we can enjoy life and just not live paycheck to paycheck and only pay bills. So I will be resuming my Let's Chat live soon once this Married at First Sight and Ready to Love season ends. So stay tuned and let me know whatever you want to talk about because that's what we will discuss. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm actually Aubrey, of course, here. We'll be back. Kimberly, you'll be back too in an hour for the Ready to Love final reunion part two. Okay, so
Yes.
guys, I'm actually Aubrey. We'll be back in an hour, less than an hour for Ready to Love, the reunion final review. And we have some other things coming up. We will be covering Love is Blind. Give me a minute, I'll get the thumbnail up for that. I believe that'll be Tuesday evenings. And guys, we thank you for sticking around. We thank you for being here. Please like this video if you haven't already. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you soon in our next video. Bye.